Y2K's gonna fuck everything up. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah! Fuck that shit!
Oh, loud. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, they gave proof through the night that our flag, it was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. All right.
So that's some mildly retarded rock for you. This next one's called XR12. Stands for Extreme Rock 12. It's the 12th in a series of extreme rock test patterns designed for your amusement. If you're one of those landlords, if you like Mountain Dew, if you do the do, maybe if you like Mountain Don't, if you're a recreational Mountain Dewer.
We'd already gone through 3 beers each when the lightning struck. Bo was still on the rocks, and I was heading back to the truck. But I swear we were still both standing at the barbecue on the deck of the trailer house listening to AC/DC, because how else could I explain these ribs in my hands? I was talking and leaning on the telephone and wanted to fly to the moon and chase the stars and take over the world and save the world and then fly back here really fast. And then wait down here by the river with the river and the trees and the sounds. The sound like static from a TV, almost, or snow falling, amplified, like the sound of static from a TV. And I don't just believe that I'm flying over the treetops, I am. Whoosh. Sometimes I think I'm about to hit the ground. Yeah, sometimes I think I'm always about to hit the ground, and some of the branches, always the cottonwoods, almost like they have gravity, and I can just barely keep myself up by concentrating so hard I'll crash. And no one can see me. Not like I'm invisible or anything, they just can't see me. But the ponderosa and the Doug fir trees always leave me be. They mostly live on the hills and the mountains, and it's a lot easier to go up there first, to look out over the valley, and then jump off the high rocks of Doe Ridge. I suppose because that way you're already 100 feet above the town, and the gravity of the cottonwoods can't grab you so easy. Those days are so nice, flying slowly in circles above the valley, across the hills, over the ponds and meadows and cows. Those silly cows. They're about the only ones who can see me, and them chickens. Them chickens. Them chickens put up a big fuss and run to hide, but the cows, they just look up moon little. Like an old man shaking his head. Stupid punk kid, don't even know it's good for him. And Mr. Farmer goes back to his hoe, chopping rhythmically at the soils to make ready for next year's crop. But then I come over the Skytop Ranch and see the huge machine churning up a billow of dust in its wake. A massive tractor stuck there on the valley floor by that same damn cottonwood gravity, except in the case uses industrial strength gravity. Case tractors must cut that Skytop Ranch some deal. They got half a dozen of those machines churning up the brownness into deeper brownness, making mud in August with a razor blade. That's about when I realized I was out of beer, and that's when Bo walked back in with a can of carburetor cleaner. I kept on saying, "No, Bo, no, Bo, no, Bo, no, Bo, no, Bo, no, Bo," except it wasn't quite Bo, it was Captain America. And he wondered why me and the other Power Rangers weren't out bringing in the hay, because it was getting mushy out there in the rain. It's never good it's never a good thing when you let your hay get mushy. It all stacks up there on the hill like an oversized baby Jesus. Baby Jesus. And then that mush just starts rotting. Then out of some nice blue August afternoon, it'd be hell if it ain't just busting out flames and smoke all over the place. Darndest thing you ever just seen. The whole damn winter's feed twisting up the whole valley. Except that time Ricky Verney set the pile of tires on fire with a magnifying glass up at the boneyard. That was really something. Too bad for the tires. I loved the boneyard back then, before we could go to the bar. One winter, Bo had this huge bottle of whiskey stashed in the trunk of one of the cars up there. He kept it in the carcass of a faded blue Chevrolet Biscayne. That was his car. He liked the way he could set his drink on the flat ledge that sticks out along her whole body and sit back and feel the alcohol in his breath like the fumes of a rocket about to ignite and blast off. Bo was always playing rocket ship. My car was a black Ford Falcon with yellow, and orange pinstripes that were peeling. It was smaller and certainly more streamlined, so I knew it was faster than Bo's Biscayne, but I never told him so. We would leave our houses about 10 in the morning Sundays after it warmed up some. Then we always went on Sundays because the dump was open Saturdays and we had to go to school during the week except over Christmas. So we crossed the ice of the river and head straight up over Doe Ridge. We still had to be sneaky and stick to the tree line and low ground because we had to cross the Pallister's land to get in the back way to the boneyard so Mr. Rainey didn't see us and call our parents. Duke Pallister usually sat on the back porch. He kept a 12 gauge for flying creatures that came within range of the house, and he caressed his 308 as he licked his hot, cracked lips, peering with one eye through the scope, popping one of those thick slugs at any creature that dared show itself to him for 1,000 yards. Me and Bo were up to Pallister's house once. Bo's dad talked to Duke, and I could smell the whiskey drifting from Duke's coffee into the chilly air of that autumn morning. They stopped talking, and the blue smell of gun smoke filled the air as the 308 barked at some small creature near the tree line on the backside of Doe Ridge. It was Bo's idea to steal the whiskey. I was all for it. Thank you.
This song is called Tired. Yeah, whatever.
Can you hear me? No? That sucks. No, that's fine. All right. This is waiting to be born in a retail store. If today the Italian navigator has landed, where was I? I was not even a miniature thought or feeling. Maybe a vague dream of the father of a 1-year-old boy whose blunt fingers were not even big enough to hold on to his soon-to-be-dead mother's breast. Maybe a hope of one woman who listened to the beer-soaked satin voice of her husband, whose hair had yet to thin while she rubbed her stomach, circling over the tiny kicking feet. I sat in a frame without a picture, on a Murphy's Company shelf, outside history, and when I finally landed well beyond the Italian navigator, alterity was not designed for me. Number 1. And now, I guess, everybody that was at Troy, I guess you can either go to the bathroom or get a beer and not feel guilty for not listening because these are from there. This is Being 17. The car I threw up in wasn't much, just a rusted Fiero that should have been on blocks, sitting at the back of the garden where the pumpkins never grew, next to the white tin shed with one door and urine-stained rust streaks. The unblocked Fiero smelled like fried chicken and mustard. The thought of corn made me vomit again. I could see the television, knew she and her lamppost sat on the floor on the old Jane Fonda workout mat, spilling peanut shells in ashtrays, her one breast suckled to a wrinkle like a potato left in the oven. I hated to be home, but the brick shingles falling off made me think Jesus would lend us some wood, but he laid on the couch on his cross on the blanket underneath the dog. Her and her lamppost had back problems that rum couldn't take away. She and her lamppost sat with their backs against the coffee table. Their heads danced on the curtains from what must have been aliens. The smooth, fuzzy soot of their shadow, her and her lamppost that wouldn't light, not smiling but smoking with the Hungry Man dinner's foil trays still at their feet, the apple cobbler untouched, freckled with the rubbery corn. The unblocked Fiero I threw up in wasn't mine, wasn't hers, wasn't the yard's, but it sat at the edge of the garden and wouldn't turn over. It smelled like fried chicken and mustard, or maybe aged Armor All seeping from the seats like the rain through the window. It made no sound, like the ants that rain washed down. They'd need kept in my mouth to make it out alive. I hated being home. I wanted them to go to sleep, her and her lamppost that wouldn't turn on. They didn't, and the dog just rolled over on greedy Jesus who wouldn't share his wood. The sun and the moon were at opposite ends of the sky beneath the clouds. They could have been at either end. It could have been day or night. The last leaf hung on the tree as it scraped against the window, scratching at the soot of their shadows. The door creaked open. The rain came in. The ants fell out. Her and her lamppost weren't sleeping when the moon clocked out and the sun clocked in. The car I threw up in creaked, shaking like it would fall from the blocks it should have been on. It was late, but time is what I use when I don't want to do something. I didn't want to go inside, didn't want to see her and her lamppost on the Jane Fonda workout mat with their peanut shells and foil trays, but the car smelled like Armor All or vomit. The screen door had no window, and the storm door had no knob. I leaned inside, almost falling, stopped the vomit in my mouth and swallowed, and I think that's what I meant when I said, when she dies, I'll keep the ants in my mouth. It's kind of strange, like going to a funeral without checking to see who's in the casket. And this one's about my Uncle Ray. Like us, he became fat, but more round, more indifferent. In the winter, I didn't know him. In the summer, he loved bikinis and tans. Sick and as epileptic to death as to us, dying he did for himself. And this one's that day in the afternoon. Sometime in the afternoon, I think I saw you before you died. I had nothing to lose, so of course I didn't say hello. You were an orange, tagged on your back with your rifle crossing the bridge in the fog. Your hair was greasy, your face still cratered and layered with patches of red zits. Your poor girlfriend thought you were beautiful. The whites of my eyes were yellow from vodka and ecto-cooler. You were an orange balloon with a red hat that deflated and sunk to the river. They said you should have been home at 6, but couldn't find you, lost in the fog or in the dark by the river where you were conceived. I was sleeping, dreaming of Madonna with chicken patties for nipples. When they found you, they say you fell and shot yourself, that you swam in the blood from your stomach, slipping in and out of consciousness. You lay bleeding with a broken leg and a colander stomach, while I powdered Madonna with peanut butter. When I woke up, you had lots of friends on TV, and you were a decent guy who was nice to everyone. I'm not sure what time or if it was you, but I think I saw you before you died, and I think I flipped you off behind your back. And this one I'm gonna have to request doesn't make it on the television. I don't know. I feel comfortable in front of all you here. And you guys won't think I'm some kind of demented sociopath.
All right. I thought it would be neat to write a poem that was constantly in flux, always changing. So I wrote a book. It's called The Book It Changes. And I thought it would be neat to like just randomly pick chapters and maybe they'd link together. So I wrote it and we'll see if it works. She studies the ceiling. I'm sorry. Sorry you made me laugh? My eyes are getting so sore, I see what's not there. To pay your penance, A, tithe double. B, become a missionary. Or C, find me tickets to the Super Bowl. I am scarred by the behaviors of the rest of you. On the television, a man is kneeling. A man behind him is pulling the trigger. Movies, popcorns, bright lights, and staying up all night. The thunder is 2 seconds away. Thoom. A field of corn. An aside. The acquisition of a crisis leads to a conflict due to the perception and the kid behind the eyes. The patient describes a container, but the name eludes him. Awareness implies eyes and the ability to react to them. My eyes are getting so sore, I see what's not there. The priest offers the forgiveness of God. All he needs from you is 10%. And relaxes. The ash grows to an unprecedented length before being tapped. I think he dropped the blade on this rock, stumbled back, left this spot of blood here in the grass, lunged forward and fell, and floated 40 feet, where she saw him, dead and bloated, where she gasped, choked, and screamed. The town loves gossip. One tear saved in a bottle. No, I'm too old for watermelon. I always choke on the seeds. Her eyes are muddy whirlpools of fascination. The gorilla picks a tick from her lover's fur, then, peeling back her lips, chews and swallows it. Cold, dark, thick as sludge, shattered by a static charge and resulting light. Woven clouds drift like sailing ships across heaven's harbor. There will be a quiz. 140,000 ascend. Hi, Tess. Those streams still distressing you, dear? Her mother's perfume licks her nose as mother leans over her and pulls the blanket to her chin. She finishes the letter to America and mails it. All right, and this one has a little more structure. This is called The Book of Self, and I'll just read a little bit of it and then maybe switch to something else. I hear I miss myself, catching only my shadow shifting around the bricks. Our conversations exist only on reel-to-reel. The search party finds a tent, 2 rolls of film, and a bag of half-eaten mushrooms. Mushrooms grow around the perimeter of the house. We have fairy rings of mushrooms, where fairies play in the chilly air of evening. Step in the ring and lose your soul for eternity is a long time to dance and play, Some think it may grow boring. Dazzling explosions and mind-bending graphics are the sad sight of children dancing through the night. I still feel like me, even though I transform daily towards something, maybe just a more complete understanding. Colin. I finally figured out that I wasn't going to figure it out, and that's when I figured it out. I lost my soul long ago to a cheap camera my mother owned. I lost my mind in the footsteps of a bug wandering by in his own bugly way in Justin's room one day, thinking, I'm okay. This is the way I came. The spookiest thought begins with I and ends with nothing. Is it possible to dissolve, to resolve, to go 1,000 directions a minute, to spin, but then go on living like a real person, drinking real coffee that tastes like cream candy? I know I'm self-indulgent. I can't afford that, but I buy it anyway. Depending on mom and dad to come mounted on the green wave of money, my capitalist cavalry. I know money is a devil, but the lack of it is colder and more personal than a silly guy in a red suit. I know I'm beautiful, though you may mistakenly think that you're not. Then again, you may be ugly. But so long as you're sweet and snuggly, somebody will love you. I know that I can sometimes be a cheesy simpleton, even on the page. I know that she loves me, even when my hair descends on us like a flight of harpies, as the bright morning lights her eyes up and leaves me with eyes tight shut, but still snuggling up to her. And then I'll just read this one, and I'll let somebody else read. I feel a sense of fraternity here. Maybe it is only the breeze that blows in a direction that I like to drift. The green changed to reds and back again in the sweeping ocean of my inner motion. I see the true opposing colors, red and green. And when the purples show up, clowns dance a jig like a tornado has a hold of them. The purples dance in when the real fun begins, and the rest is just mythology, red and green. And that albino calling, it is safe to go, big red hand flashing faster, as simple as red, red, and green Riding Hood slept in one day, it seems, a dreadful image of grandma's death poisoning her dreams. Seems she sees the gray, gray wolf, a symbol of primal fear, says the psychoanalyst, hard on pulling at his pants, eating granny down with a nervous grinding sound that shook her to her knees. Riding Hood awakes screaming, fade. We see a flash of her, flashing skin as covers slide and slip. We see her flailing and crying out. And the wood outside, indifferently green. Or was today orange and green, leaves scattered in the fallish pattern of Halloween? Today you sit like an idle beehive, hinting at honey. Today your lines don't match up. Tomorrow creeps up on me like a yawning zombie, and I think eagerly of my crypt. But my hot choco is oh so sweet and thick, and I'll stay up for another sip. And how will the end creep in? The cocoa gets cooler, thicker, and sweeter toward the bottom of the mug. I have a constant fear of selling out and becoming normal. I have this constant fear that I'll get too far away, that I'll go insane and slip sanity. The last sip of cocoa awaits me, a cool, thick sludge, so sweet it will make your stomach spin. Companions separated by a wall doing jumping jacks. This chapter makes me think of Pisces and that scene in Arkham Asylum. Arkham seeing his fish swimming in and out of one another. The bottom of the mug is a dark brown sludge as thick as mud and sweeter than love. I drink some, but my face twists up. Time to go lay with my love, and in the sink I'll rest the cup. The batteries are charged, but the machine does not budge. He chunks it out the window, looks down at the pavement. The chuckling stream and cello music do not sit in the stomach. He prefers rock and roll, or some facsimile, drilled out with harmonies and melodies, something to nod to mindlessly. Thanks.
All right, I got just 2 poems. They're both new, but they're both real rough, so deal with it. It's late in March, and we're standing in your living room. You hold a clear plastic baggie half full of dry white rice and stare blankly at a painting above the fireplace. It's an ocean scene with angry waves, an old lighthouse, and some gulls. My legs still hurt from the race, and I can't stand here all night. It's a fine painting, I say. Why don't we just leave the rice here, go upstairs, turn back the sheets, and find the devil in the mattress? But I know you hear nothing, for the painting has your ears. Your stare turns to fire as footsteps besiege the silence. The painting is gone as the front door slams shut. He's taking your pain away, darling. You nod once as the rice finally hits the floor and offer me a shy grin. It's then that the couch starts burning. The acrid smoke paints the ceiling yellow and chases us out into the wet street. We lay down on the greasy asphalt and watch as the flames tear the house apart. This is called Me and You. I've been thinking about your policies. They've made me a mollusk digging through concrete. I'm smacking Granddaddy in the ass as he spits up another bottle of glue. Keep producing, you old fucker, Miss Schlazworth says you're falling behind. And I smack him in the ass again. Your teeth just grind as you scheme behind the scenes in your comfortable office. I stand for keeping the fallen from getting up and keeping your knees braced against the gale whipped up by their moans and sighs. I should be snapping your fucking world in half and creeping up behind you to peek up your skirt and sniff your panties, a scouring brush on your chrome face. I'll tear your heart out through your nose and shove it up my ass so deep I won't pass it till next year in August. You'll be dead by then, so I'll give it to Marcy. She's been asking for one, and she still loves me. Thanks.
Hi! We're the disappointments.
Don't scoot in on it, just leave it like 20. I want to hear the big star conversation. Mike check. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Check. Testing.
Check.
1, 2.
Check.
Can you hear that?
Can you hear it?
You got that in there?
Yeah. That's like the most impressive.
Mike, check.
It's Frenzel rum.
What is? I like Frenzel rum.
Or Daze.
What's that?
You can turn them.
Enunciate.
Speak from your belly. From your gut. Pretend like you're really low. So, Zach, I was sleeping with your mother earlier today.
So was I.
Go figure.
Her a-hole is... You can fit a watermelon in her a-hole.
Oh, good God.
Man, I'm sick.
I'm sick too. We're all sick today.
I'm not sick. I'm taking my sobriety medication. I have chronic sobriety. Next, I'd like to take off my pants. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I'm not a man. Take off my pants now. Here you go. I want to do my interview without pants on.
You're insane in the memory.
Oh God, I hope I don't get busted for that.
Busted for what?
Oh God.
Did you get that in there? Yeah.
Hot toddy time. Are we rolling?
Fuck, man. How do you do
I think
that?
we're rolling.
Aren't we rolling?
Hi, we're the disappointments.
Zach, you should smell this.
Yeah, you should.
We should talk about it. Like how we came together as a band.
We didn't.
Does the public really want to know?
Hello, everyone. My name is Molly. How's everybody doing tonight? Good? Enjoying the Paps, $1 Paps? Woo, baby. Figured I needed to represent the caucus for cocks and balls instead of tits and ass. So, anyways, let's see here. Like a patient etherized upon a table, let us go through certain half-deserted streets, the muttering retreats of restless nights and one-night cheap hotels and sawdust restaurants with oyster shells, the streets that follow like a tedious argument of insidious intent to lead you to an overwhelming question. Oh, do not ask what is it, but let us go and make our visit. Little T.S. Eliot for you. Okay, here's a scene. A flat surface on which is painted a doctor anesthetizing a woman. In this picture, there are two holes corresponding to the heads of the physician and of the patient, and through these holes protrude the living heads of a man and a woman. I arched backward violently as the doctor, whom was God, punctured me with his penis. Without lubricating or tickling my tender fruit, first he jabbed my fruit, pulling the hairy texture of my fruit, searching for the warm core of the fruit. God jabbed me God jabbed me a second time, which felt like a horned cock, a petrified and large suppository that was mistakenly placed in the wrong orifice. A foreign slab of flesh ripped the door off my cave of love. Like a piece of used Velcro, my vagina sucked the smooth sides of the horned cock, in which two gonads rubbed methodically together, making sweet sounds of friction, heat, heat, and itching the scratches that accumulated deep inside my vagina. A vision flashed before the screen which spanned across my closed eyelids. God imagined me as a little fireman sliding up and down his shiny pole. I imagined God with a penis that was a boiled slab of sausage, chiseling his own sculpture within my vagina, trying to outdo the Italian Bernini. Little did he know that I would be enshrined in the cathedral someday. I would turn this horny attack into an ecstasy as he continued to jab my fruit. His fat cock, heated to its optimal temperature, rumbling like the excited water molecules in a teapot. The mercury of the penis hits its boiling point. The juice spurted, squirted, a schizophrenic fire extinguisher, and the cave, my cave of love, was quenched of its desiccated existence. I relaxed finally. Because of intangible pain, because of ecstasy. As some would say, the ecstasy of Saint Teresa. I was all on fire with the great love of God. My own existence, my own ecstatic experience, my sense of withdrawal from the world, the state of pleasure and pain, the expansion of my vaginal cavity that comes from the union of the divine. It was mystical. It was rapture. And then I decided to slap him in the face. And that's all. Thank you.
All right. And I fell asleep tonight before I wrote the story that I was going to read. So I've got a poem and another poem that I wrote when I was like 17, and I think it's pretty funny and dated. All right. If you're American and you go to Europe, your home must be California, New York, or Disneyland. People may comment aloud on the size of your breasts or your companion's breasts. No one who speaks English will speak it to you unless you ask. Don't try to speak French in the cities. Stick to the country to improve your tongue. Speak Spanish throughout Spain. The Spanish are kind. Don't bring a pocketbook. Don't bring a wallet. Stuff all your money in a little teeny change purse. Don't get caught leaving an outdoor ATM in Rome. Don't go to Sicily unless you've got family. Don't expect to be treated with courtesy. You won't get it. Be aware of the reputation which precedes you. Everyone hates you. Everyone hates you. Everyone hates you. You big, dumb, loud, monolingual, baseball-loving, nigger-hating, scotch-drinking, capitalist redneck. All right. Not that. All right, this is me when I was like 16, 17. I don't know if this is true, but I think that any girl who writes anything goes through this phase where like she thinks she can write about problems with her parents or like whether they're existent or not. I don't know. It's a theory I have, so like if you fit it, you should let me know. Okay. It is the last thing she puts on every morning, and every day she struggles, again and again. The slinky chain slips from her wrist. It refuses to connect. In the next room, she hears their voices. A man, a woman, a mother, a father. Once again, she gives up. She leaves this place called home. The chain's still broken. It's the bracelet. And I think it's really funny, because I write a lot different now than I did then, and I don't really have anything from in between. So this is another one from, I don't know, 17 in suburban Jersey, I guess. Can I touch you just once in that dusty closet of your soul where no one's ever been? May I explore your every pathway with childish excitement of that first time pulsing through my eager hands? Will you try to forget the many other nights like this with the faceless, nameless ones? And together we'll pretend there's never been another. And in that mind, body, and spirit, you are my virgin. That's it.
This one's called Knuckle Dragger. Hey, there he is. This is a love song. You know, you gotta love those love songs. Alright, love song time. I love you so much, baby. I'm just kidding. I got drunk and I told you that I loved you, and you just looked up at me. You told all your friends that I was unstable, and now they won't talk to me.